Hi, my name is Matt Kreitz. Welcome to Module 3. In this module, I'm going to show you how to create teacher accounts and then create courses and assign those teachers to those courses. There's a certain order of operations that you have to do to collect your data. The first is you have to be awarded a grant. Congratulations. The second, we set up all of your fiscal agent, adult ed information, and your locations. And then after that is done, and we've created your user accounts, the third thing is all on you. You create every single teacher record, you create every course, you input every student record, and maintain all of that data. So that's what we're going to do in this module. I'm going to show you how to create teachers. I will put a couple in, and then I'm going to show you how to create courses. I'll do a couple of those, and you can pause at any time or take notes as we're doing it, or follow along if you already have a username and password. But remember, you're in a live system and I am in a test. So let's get right to it. I'm already logged in. So the order of operations that I already just covered is your locations, your fiscal agent, and your program. And then you have to create teachers first. You can't do courses because you can't create a course without assigning a teacher to it. All right. So you have to create your teacher records first, and then you can create courses. You can create student records, but you can't assign them to any courses and have them in your system if you don't have teachers and courses. All right. So your first action is to add your teachers. So if you go to the teachers tab, okay, so I'm going to click on views on my tabs, teachers, and you have a couple of options here. The first, you can see I don't have any teachers listed at all. This is a brand new clean program. If I want to add a teacher, I have two ways of doing that. One, in the blue line underneath the column headers, I can right click and add teacher. Or I can click the add button at the upper left hand corner. So I'm going to do that. It's just simple, easy, and it says add. And on the course screen, to add a new course, you'll see some red, on the teacher screen, you'll see some red required information. The way Enters works is everything that is required by you to enter in is coded in red. It won't let you save the record if the stuff that's in red is not filled in. And when it does, if you do save it without the red being filled in, it will give you an error message on the record every single time you go to open it. So we're going to put teacher in. It's going to be a fake teacher. Last name of Grammar. First name of Bill. Don't know why. The home location for this teacher is important, but it's not relevant. If you have 5 locations and this teacher is going to teach out of your main location, that does not mean that they're 100% tied to this home location. It's just a holding place for them for the system. They can teach at any of your facilities. This is just where is their major time spent. So I'm going to select, and I go to these and find this won't be as hard for you. You won't have this many locations. Trust me, it'll be much easier. I'm logged in as me, and so I have to scroll until I find what I'm looking for. The DWD Test Center. So now that I've assigned the home location, I move to the next red block, which is teacher type. Are they administrative, assistant, counselor, paraprofessional, substitute, teacher, or volunteer tutor? I'm going to mark as a teacher. All of the rest of the information that is not red is general information for the teacher for your tracking purposes or if you want to do reports. Okay. Full or part-time. What does this mean? Full-time means that they are a full-time teacher with 100% of their salary paid through adult ed funds. If they are not receiving 100% pay through adult ed funds, they are a part-time teacher. It's a very distinct level. Not that they only teach part-time. It's based on the funding of how you're paying them. So if you have a teacher that 50% of their time is paid for by the school corporation that you work for, or some other grant or something else that is not adult ed funded, they are a part-time teacher, whether they work 8 hours a day or not. So I'm going to mark full-time. On the certification, there's only a few options. No cert, adult ed cert, K through 12, special ed cert, and a TESOL cert. I'm going to say that this person has this. Then the next required field is years of experience, and it's very easy. Less than 1 year, 1 to 3 years, and 3 or more years. That's it. All you have to worry about. Not, okay, well Bill has 6 years, and okay. I'm going to say 1 to 3. I'm going to click close, and then it's going to ask me to save the record. I'm going to say yes. Now, you're saying, Matt, you just closed and saved that record, but I don't see your teacher listed on your teacher's views. That's correct. Here's why. Our grids load once when you initially open them. You must manually refresh them to see any changes that you've made. So I saved Bill Grammer. You all. There is Bill Grammer. So the way to refresh the grid is to view all or do a search. All right, so let's add another teacher. Click the add button. We're going to put in another teacher. Again, I have to select the location that I have access to. Let's make this teacher a part-time teacher. They have an adult ed cert and less than 1 year. I'm going to click close. And yes, this teacher doesn't show up still. I'm going to click view all. And there they are. All right. So that's the first step that you as a brand new provider will do. You're going to have your list of teachers, their contact information, all the stuff that you need to enter in. And you're going to enter it into the system. You'll soon have a list of your teachers done. And you can see I just added 2 in no time. It didn't take me any time at all to do that. Once you have your teacher pool created, if you needed to edit something, you can right click and edit the teacher, or you can just double click the teacher name or row. You double click on it, it will open up their record. So I'll now explain the teacher record. Once you've created this, within each of these boxes, there's general information, their comments, custom fields. So comments is if you wanted to make a comment, hey, this is a great teacher, or we had to have a staff conversation, whatever, things like that. There's custom fields. Then there's professional development. All teachers must have some form of professional development. I'm not going to get into that in this training module or any of the future training modules. We have an entire DWD professional development team that is comprised of DWD employees as well as representatives from across the state. So that information will be given to you, but this is where you enter that information in. And then any assigned students that this teacher may have. The assigned students are any students in a course that the teacher teaches. You may print any of these windows straight from here. Like, so you could print this general information. You could do this window, print all of the students, or you can export it to Excel and make a nice, pretty Excel document of all this teacher's students. So that's the general information on the student or the teacher overview. The other thing that we have is what's called a teacher data entry website. It is not this Enters client. It is a separate website that teachers can access in a classroom without having to have this software installed on their computer, to where they can do attendance and testing right there. You are responsible for creating those accounts. And all you have to do is down here in the bottom of the screen is click this checkbox and then give them a username and password, and then what level of account they need to be. Do not use the usernames of the first initial and last name for your teachers. DWD will use those because we have access to all of the usernames. You do not. So if you have a Bill Smith and you create B Smith, there may be 5 other people that have B for a first name and Smith as a last name. But we have changed and put a 1 or BI Smith or something so that the usernames are unique. Create your own unique username for the teacher and a password and give it to them, and then they can log in. So I'm going to close this. I am not going to save because I don't want any changes to be made to that record. So if I want to add another teacher, I'm going to right click and add teacher. I'm going to give this person another last name. And it's really, I'm going to have to come up with student names too. So I'm struggling on the struggle bus here to come up with fake names. Struggle bussin'. Oh, see, it gave me an error because I don't have the home location or the teacher type. I couldn't save the record, so I have to go in and make sure I do this. I fell into the trap of trying to get this done as fast as possible. Now I can save it. Again, they didn't show up here. I have to view all, and there they are. Web Google, Bill Grammer, and Tracy House. Okay? So that's how you add teachers. Now I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this view, and notice right here, there's this tab open. I said I'd cover this. So I still have my filters, tasks, views, tests, list, rapid entry, reports. But now there's this new tab of teachers. If I go back to views and I open courses, look here, the teachers tab is right there. I don't have to go back to views and teachers. It's right here. I just click between the two. All right. So that's how the tabs work. And you can have views and students up. So now it's students, teachers, and courses. And you don't have to go back to views every single time. You can just leave it open. So on courses, it's the same way. You can add a course now that you have teachers in. When you add a course, it's really simple. Same thing. There's red required information for it as well. But there is a special note for the course code. On the course code, it must be a unique 16 characters or less small number or letter combination of a code that you can come up with on your own, but it cannot be duplicated within the current program year. So if you start your numbering system with 001, as your code, you can never have another course in the same program year that is a course code of 001. Your course name, however, can be whatever helps you identify what that course is. So we're going to say that this is ABE level, no, ABE Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All right. This is my ABE course that's on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Your adult ed type is adult basic education or adult secondary education, ELL, or if it's an IELCE, if you've got a grant for that. I'm just going to select ABE. I'm going to fill in the location of where it's going to be taught based off of your list of approved locations. The term in which it is going to be conducted. And then the teacher with which, or the teacher who's going to be teaching that course. So I did Bill Grammer first. We'll give him a course. If you have assistant teachers or substitute teachers, you can add them in here. Okay, so let's say Bill is the main teacher, but Tracy is the assistant. Then I would do it just like this. And then that way both teachers can access the course and the students. Same with a substitute. I just want to leave it with Bill for right now. Your start and end date are automatically filled in to the date in which you're filling in the course. And it's required, but it's not a necessary thing to say, oh, I'm only going to offer this course from June to July, right? That you don't have to do that. Typically, when programs create their course, what they do is they will go at the start of the term, so July 1, and then the end of the term, June 30th of the following program year. So this is important information. Adult basic education in the state of Indiana has a program year that starts on July 1 and ends on June 30th of the following calendar year. So starting in 8 days on July 1 of 2020, that will be the start of the 2021 program year. So your courses would start on July 1 of 2020 and end June 30th of 2021. You can put the start time and is it an AM or PM class? How many total hours is the class if you want, like per session? And your meeting days. So I said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Is this an orientation only course or not? As a tip, all programs should create one orientation course and assign every single student to that orientation course and do your orientation and your pre-testing and your registration forms in that course. And then once you determine where they're going to be at in your program, assign them to an additional course and go from there. If you have one orientation course, unless you are a large program and you run more than one orientation class a week, it is easier to just put them all into one course. You know where those students are at when you do the intake, and it makes doing an intake on a student much easier because you know every student is going to be assigned to this course initially. So once you have the course information in, you can click close and save, and it doesn't show up. But I'm going to click view all, and there is my first course. I'm going to go back into this course and show you the course screen. So you have the general tab of the information that you just filled in. The next tab is called the IET. Integrated Education and Training tab. I'm not going to go into the details of an IET. You'll have to work with your adult ed coordinator to put in an application if you applied for IET funds and you're going to offer an IET course or a WEI. This section will be grayed out. You cannot make any selections. Only Bryn Cisco puts information into here based off of your application that goes through the application process. We did put in a budget and funding formula to help you. You do not have to use this. All of this stuff is extra, but it's there. We also have the comments. We have a custom field. We have any fee schedule if there's fees associated with it. Who are the teachers assigned to the course? Or if you've had, let's say, issues with Bill, but you want to keep the course and you create a new teacher because you fired Bill and hired a new teacher, you'll see any history of teachers in this course. And then the assigned students to this course. So every student that you assign to this course will show up here once we put students in. Any assessments that are associated with it, that's more in the IET stuff, and it's in a different section on the student record. So that's what the general overview of a course looks like, and that's how you create a course. I'm going to do a couple more for the other two teachers. Drinking my coffee so I can keep talking. And remember, unique course code. So this is going to be 002. Course name is ELL. That's going to be Monday and Friday. Select my location. Aren't you glad you're not an admin and have to deal with all of these? This will be really easy for most users. Select my term, the teacher, start date. Oh, on the dates, here's a tip. The single arrow will move the calendar in the current year forward or backward by a month, and the double arrow will do the year. Nope. That's a Monday, Friday. Close, save, view all, and there it is. I'm gonna add one more course for my third teacher. And this I'm going to make an orientation only course. Notice I changed it to letters and numbers. Just use adult basic education. Still has to have a location. And it has to have a teacher, start date, and I'm going to select orientation only. And I'm not going to worry about the meeting days because here's why. On the orientation class, it does not have to be a set date or day. if you have a bunch of people that come and you can work with the teacher and say, hey, we need to do an orientation class tonight. We've got people coming in. It's not tied to a schedule, right? Where the other courses are more structured, you can float an orientation course in your program to any day of the week based on your program's needs. You could do it on a Monday for 5 people and then get another round of people that come in inquiring about your program and say, okay, hey, we'll have an orientation course for you on Thursday. And talk to the teacher and say, hey, can you run this course again on Thursday? So it's not tied to a set schedule unless you want to do it that way. And that way all of your contacts know that, hey, every Wednesday we have an orientation class. Show up, take your test, fill out the paperwork, and then start your courses. Okay? That's just a tip. But I'm going to mark that as orientation only. Close. Yes. Missing from general. Oh, term. See, it tells you. It tells you. You all, and there are my 3 courses for my 3 teachers. Now, a teacher can have more than one course. You can assign them to more than one course. It's not limited to just other than what time and capabilities they have. All right. So that's the module on overview of inters, as well as how to add a teacher, setting up your program, adding teachers, and creating courses. All right. The next module that I'm going to go over is all of your student information, how to intake brand new students, how to assign them to courses, and get them into the system in one of the courses that you have created. And then move them from their orientation course to the course that you have assigned for them for their needs. At the end of the day, that's what it's about, is what does the student need to educate them to meet their goals. So join me in the next module, module number 4, which is going to cover the intake process, student data, the student views screen, and things that go along with just the day-to-day maintenance of student level data. In later modules, we'll cover attendance. It needs its own, along with testing, because it needs its own, because there are errors that occur in the testing process and attendance process that we're going to cover. So join me for the next module.